Hi, I'm Robert Chisholm, a founding partner here at Chisholm Chisholm Kilpatrick. And joining me today is Brad Hennings, also a partner here at Chisholm Chisholm Kilpatrick. And today we're going to talk about sort of one of the foundational principles of VA compensation. Brad, I was recently at a Bar Association event, a CAVC Historical Bar Association, and there was a presentation by a PhD candidate about the question of whether VA benefits going back in time to the Civil War and even before were a contractual obligation of the nation for those who served, or was it charity? And so the question I'd like to discuss with you today is whether you think VA disability benefits are a gift, charity, or are they earned benefits for service? How do you think about it, and what do you think our government should do for our veterans here?
That's a really interesting question. I think historically the answer was it was considered a gratuity or a gift. But I think as time has passed, we view it as earned compensation for the sacrifices that are made in service to the nation. It's about sort of justice and accountability. It's the recognition that the nation is offering for injury or illness that results from military service.
And we have a lot of statutes that actually govern what is owed to veterans, assuming that they had the right type of service. And by that, I mean honorable, general, but not dishonorable.
Right. It's really, the VA disability system, these benefits are designed to compensate veterans for the average loss of earning capacity, not for the presence of having this medical condition alone. And the legal foundation for that is in 38 U.S.C. 1110 and 1131. And they establish that veterans are entitled to compensation for disabilities incurred or aggravated by their duty, in the line of their duty. And the regulation states, the 38 CFR 4.1 states, the percentage ratings represent, as far as can be practicably be determined, the average impairment in earning capacity resulting from such diseases and injuries.
So one of the other common things that arises is, do you have to be in combat in order to get benefits, for example? And the way the system was designed is for 24/7 coverage, meaning whether you're in combat, whether you're serving on a base somewhere around the world, or if your service is more local and you're in the States. As long as the event happens during your service, it doesn't practically matter where you are or what you're doing. Isn't that correct?
That's right. The best way to think about this is VA benefits, veterans benefits, are designed as a workers' compensation plan. But it's so unique when you're serving your country. It's not like going to work at the factory. It's not like going to work at an office. This is a job where you're working, in a sense, 24/7. You're in the nation's care. You're taking care of the nation. And because of that, it's designed that anything that happens to you during that period of time, whether you're in combat, whether you're unloading a truck, whether you're at a desk, you're going to be covered and taken care of because of the unique nature of the sacrifices of serving your country.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is the idea that the fact is we have an all-volunteer Army, and we've had an all-volunteer Army since the mid-'70s, if I'm not mistaken. And one of the things that is used to advertise to people to come join the service is the benefits you get. And one of the big benefits is educational benefits after your service is done. And so that, to me, is really another example of the contractual obligation, not gratuity, as you said initially. And how do you think that motivates people to join the service, for example?
There are a tremendous number of benefits that are available when you serve your country or after you've served your country. And VA disability benefits are just one piece of that. You identified education benefits are what we think of with the GI Bill and the various things that came out of that. But there's all sorts of benefits that are available. And VA disability compensation is just part of that package. It really is for a volunteer force. This is part of the contract, part of the social contract that we've agreed to provide if you enlist, if you volunteer to serve your country.
And then the last thing I wanted to sort of address is sometimes we talk to veterans and they say, well, I'm not injured enough to apply for VA benefits. And the fact of the matter is, it isn't just if you're injured enough. If you've suffered an injury in service, you also might need medical treatment for that injury. And the other thing that can sometimes happen is an injury might not be significant at some point in your life, but it can worsen over time. And so it's better to establish the injury earlier, wouldn't you say? Because it gets harder the longer you wait. Not that there's any time limit to file, but the sooner you file, generally speaking, it seems to me, the more likely you are to win in the system.
That's absolutely right. When it's close to your time in service is the time to apply if you've had something that's happened to you. Conditions get much worse with age, and they get harder to prove because things get lost, things go missing. And so you want to establish that as soon as you can, because the disabilities themselves do worsen over time. Arthritis doesn't usually tend to get better as you get older. It gets worse. And there's all these conditions where that's the case. So you really don't want to minimize, you really don't want to downplay any of these kinds of effects on your life, because this is part of the contract. You know, just because others have it worse, that's not a reason to change the fact that this is a workers' compensation plan. You are guaranteed to be taken care of because of the unique nature and the unique rigors of military service. And this goes to that.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. And I just wanted to conclude by saying veterans kept their promise to serve our nation, and VA benefits are how the nation keeps its promise to those veterans in return. Thank you for joining us, and please follow us on YouTube as well.